Good morning and welcome to Blackberry Ridge. I would like to talk about different types of tomatoes and how I plant my tomatoes this morning. The ones that I'm going to show you that I'm planting are going to be the Super Italian Paste tomatoes. I learned about these tomatoes from Susan's channel, which is I'm Still Working on YouTube. Her channel has so much information on it. So several years ago, I purchased these seeds. And the wonderful thing about purchasing seeds that are heirloom is that you never have to purchase them ever again. I do keep the seed packets for information purposes. So here we're talking about on the Super Italian Paste, it talks about starting indoors. And then it talks about, when it's 70 to 75 degrees outside, and they're meaning like consistently 70, 75 degrees. Go ahead and you can plant them apart. Now, they say to set the plants 3 to 4 feet apart in a sunny location. Since I'm going to go to one stem, I'm not wanting to grow a bunch of leaves. I am wanting to grow tomatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and plant mine 2 feet apart. These were purchased, as you can see, from Burpee. Another tomato that I really, really like is the Schiavone Italian Paste tomato. This tomato is wonderful for making sauces and ketchup. Something that you want to have very little seeds, and you want it to be very meaty. It takes 90 days. It is indeterminate. And so this one here, these seeds here, I purchased from Victory Seeds. Now, when we're purchasing seeds, we need to think about how we're going to be using them. So if I'm wanting a nice slicing tomato, I might have Brandywine, which is an heirloom. Or if I want to go with one of the other types, I'm looking for, like the beefsteak, or I'm looking for ones that will, like, when I'm sliced, it'll cover the tomato. But I'm not wanting something that's that large and juicy and seedy if I'm going to be canning. So there I might use the Celebrity or Rutgers. Roma is another really good tomato. So let's go on out to the garden here. Okay, friends, now we're at the garden. And I am showing you one of my tomato plants that I have planted by the fence. Now, I have, in this situation here, in this area here, a 7-foot fence. And I'm trying to utilize everything that I can to make the best of my situation. So I'm showing you one of the tomato plants that I have just planted. And there you can see on my stick that this is an Atkinson tomato. And now, okay, let's talk about how we get it to this point. Raised beds don't have to be created from something that's expensive, or they don't have to be created from wood or cinder blocks. Anything that will contain your soil will work. I went to the Walmart and I bought this. It's 30-foot Echo Edge. I bought 4 packages of them. They were about $10 a piece. But for me, it was well worth it because I wanted to use the space here along the fence. The next thing that I did was that I took paper, the thick construction paper that I actually had left over from where I was doing painting and work on the house. And I have folded this to where it's going to fit about 24 inches wide. And I put some of that edging across the back of the fence and wiggled it behind the post. And then I'm taking and I'm putting another layer here. And there's still weeds that are down here. And these weeds are going to die and they're going to become part of the mulch. The next thing that I had to do was I took these stakes that I purchased and hammered them into the ground. And that's helping to hold this black stuff in place. For my filler, I'm just taking my 5-gallon bucket and I'm going down to my barn, which is right there. And I have composted manures in there. So we have composted cow goat, rabbit, chicken. I'm trying to think what all else. Anyway, we have all kinds of different manures that are in there from our animals. So I take and spread the bucket. It looks like this after it's composted. It breaks down pretty good. And one thing, when you're in the garden, you're going to have dirty hands. Unless you wear gloves. And I mean, I wear gloves for heavy work, but the rest of the time I get my hands in there and get nice and dirty. Then on top of that, so I got this about 1/3 full. I need to put more manure and stuff in here, more compost. But then I take and I put about 1/3 of the compost. And then I take, and it just has some hay in it from where it's been in the barn. Then I take and I put about 1/3 peat moss that I buy compacted. It's cheaper if you can buy it in the bags that are compacted. And I buy it where it doesn't have anything added to it. So I'm not using the Miracle Grow peat moss or anything like that. This is just plain pure peat moss. So I filled it up about 1/3 of the way with the peat moss. Then on top of that, I add vermiculite. So this white stuff is vermiculite, which is a puffed volcanic rock, I believe. And both the peat moss and the vermiculite are very good for retaining water and keeping the soil nice and light. The next thing that I do is I just come in here with my hands and I'm just going to mix this all up. I try to keep it inside the paper as I'm working, because when I go and I put the wood chips, like what's down there, next to it, the wood chips will help to hold everything in. So very, very simple, you know. And then after I get that all mixed up, I come down and I'm going to plant these, like I said, 24 inches apart. So here's one of my plants, and my fence pieces here are 2 feet this way, or 2 inches this way, and 4 inches this way. So I'm just going to count 12 of these over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right here. And it doesn't have to be rocket science. And then what I'm going to do is I'm making a trench in this stuff that I've mixed up. So I've got a trench going here. Now, here is one of my plants that I put into a 6-pack. And just, by the way, those of you who are new to gardening, a 6-pack just means that this container holds 6 plants. That's a 6-pack. They're saying a 9-pack. They're just meaning that it will hold 9 plants. So this is a 9-pack. Okay, so I've got my plant out and got the roots. And I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm just going to rough up these roots a little bit. And then I take my fingernail, and you can take a knife if you don't have a fingernail. And these bottom stems, I clip them off. So I don't want any of those bottom stems. So it's going to look kind of naked. It's going to look like that. Then I take and I lay my plant down in the trench. And I just want its little head sticking up, just like that. And then I cover it up. And I've got it to where I'm wanting it to go up here. So, now, I'm going to be doing later on a video on how I keep this single stem, because I don't want all of those suckers developing little subplants. So I go ahead and I snip those off. And that is all there is to planting the tomato. Now, finally, let's make sure that we have our stick. So anyway, we will be putting a stick in there, and it will say that these are our super Italian paste tomatoes. Make sure you water it in really good, and In about 75 days, 70 days, I should have some yummy tomatoes. As always, thank you for stopping by Blackberry Ridge. Thank you for watching our channel. If you should need to give me a personal message, I can be contacted at 2, that's the number 2, not written out, 2ladyhomesteaders@gmail.com. Please subscribe to our channel. If you would, just tell people about us. I really am trying to teach you and help you. And if you have something that you want to thumbs down me, and I have had some people thumbs down me, just also if you'd leave in the comment what I can do to improve my channel, I really would appreciate it. As always, God bless America, pray for our country, and good luck with your tomatoes. It's Vivian Ann from the side of the mountain in Northeast Tennessee, signing off.